What's going on, people? This is another great installment of the film review, movies, music, culture, and whatever else comes to our minds. We're the husband-wife team. I'm Crazy Dee.
And Tracey.
Who discuss culture in film, politics, and society. And you know, this is a special one because we're not discussing a film today, though we did see a film. What was the last film we saw? Oh yeah, A Star is Born, yeah. Which we will be giving that review soon, but not right now. What we've come to talk about today is your boy, your homie, the one that has always been in your corner all of this time to make it happen for black people. That's right. I'm here and we're here to talk about Kanye. That's right. Your boy, that's right. He met with the president. He met with number 45, Donald J. Trump. He met with him today. Did you see this, people? Did you see what happened there? Did you see? I saw it, and I was, I can say honestly that I was outdone. And here's my theory on it. Why this was able to happen is because the responsible children in the room refused to meet with the man. And why did they refuse to meet with the man, number 45 president? Is because the European Americans that are against Donald Trump said, we're not going to meet with him. It's going to be basically a blockade. It's going to be, we're going to talk against him the whole time. So here we are with Kanye there, and he sat there and he talked about the 13th Amendment. And he talked about Chicago, and he talked about how we haven't been trained. And I was thinking to myself, we haven't been trained.
He said, what about that black on black crime?
What about that black on black crime? What can be said about Kanye?
Sheer buffoonery.
Listen, I'm going to give a couple of things to Donald Trump and to Kanye West. I'm going to give you. They're two polarizing figures. I'll give you that. However, with Donald Trump, everything that he said that he's going to do. If you watch the news cycle, like I don't watch all the time because it's just disgusting. Because I believe that the liberal media and the conservative media, they're in on this, hook, line, and sinker. They're producing this zeitgeist, and that's the way it is. And he's getting everything. And the liberal media, they'll talk about, well, this happened during the Nixon administration, and then they take that information and they roll with it, and then they make sure that they don't do it. Also, they'll talk about, well, this is going to happen, and this happens, and this happens. Well, thank you for telling us so we can take this and use it. So the media is complicit in this. That's one thing. But I want to give Donald Trump this credit. Everything that he said that he was going to do, he does. You'll hear it early in the news cycle, like maybe 6 to 9 months before. And then after those 6 to 9 months, it'll raise again. The conversation will raise again. Like we heard months ago that almost a year and a half ago that he wanted to put his daughter into the position of Secretary of State. We heard that. We heard that, and it goes out of the news cycle. Then it comes back once he's getting ready to execute.
Well, now he's saying that he said, not that I would put her in it, but I think Ivanka would be great in Nikki Haley's position, because Nikki Haley is going to be leaving her post at the beginning of the year, and he said his daughter would be great in that position.
So listen to how Trump speaks. He'll say that, but then he'll turn right around and he'll be doing it. He'll just be warming it up and sending the signals to the Republicans. And number two, the Republicans are never going to relieve themselves of Donald Trump, because everything they have ever wanted, he gets done for them. And number three, the Democrats are so weak. If anyone believed that old boy for the Supreme Court was not going to be confirmed, you must have been holding your breath till you were blue. Because I knew. I said, oh, he's going through.
Yeah, it was a horse and pony show. Just sheer entertainment, because they knew that they were going to put Kavanaugh in. So it was just a waste of everyone's time.
So I'm saying all this to get back to Kanye and his meeting with President Trump today. What people are on the surface level on all this. What this is about, why the European American male, the ones who are pushing behind Trump and those that are in the Senate and the House, don't care about sexual assault, don't care about underage drinking, they don't care about Trump trying to mess with a 12-year-old girl, as it was said when he was first done, is because this is what the European American did. If they would teach true history, you would know that girls, not women, because they tried women before, but girls between the ages of 9 and 12 crossed across the prairies to go to the West to marry men, to have children. They believed in this. So all of these laws that came about, they could care less about women getting education so they can have equal footing, because their whole thing is, and this is, everybody is on that surface level, they'll talk about the LGBTQ, and they'll talk about women's rights, and they'll talk about that, and they'll battle in their own little pockets. But the reason why they're like this is because they want to build their numbers back up. And all of these different things, abortion, not allowing NAMLA, not allowing that is cutting down on their population, because this is what they have been about. Do the research, now it's true. So now we come to Kanye West, and he sat there. I don't know what Jim Brown was doing, but Trump said that basically after he let Kanye ramble.
Well, first, Jim Brown stated, he said, I don't want anything from you, Mr. President. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to serve. That's his term. He said, I'm just happy to serve.
Okay, right. So my point on that, Jim Brown, is, I don't know what Jim Brown is doing. I mean, Jim Brown was sitting there laying back in the seat as if he can barely walk or whatever, or he's going through some kind of, in my opinion, it looks like dementia. He was barely able to speak. He was sitting there watching Kanye speak and ramble on, and Trump was sitting there rambling, listening to the ramble and watching it, and he had that face. See, it's one thing that you have to understand, that European Americans have a poker face, and the poker face appears to be compassionate, and it appears that that person is listening to you when their mind is already calculating and already have made the decision about who they think you are and who they are to you. So here he is doing all this rambling, and then Trump says, well, this is just a lunch meeting. So in other words, it's a photo op. But the reason why we are here again is because the responsible people did not keep a dialogue open with him. We know that he is BS, but you know what? We've experienced presidents that were BS before. And you have to go back and find out what W.E.B. Du Bois did and what Booker T. not Booker T. Well, Booker T watched it, and then you have to go back and see before that Frederick Douglass, what Frederick did. You know, these people were BSers as far as black people were concerned, and the plight of black people during and after slavery. And so all these people who follow, how long has that been out? Because he's not a politician. That's why they are against him, because he's not a politician. Just like they did Avenatti. They were friends when it had to do with sex and salacious, Stormy Daniels. Oh, they were with him. Right. But as soon as he said that he could run, the Democrats say, well, we don't really credit that because we don't know if that's credible. Then the media picked up on it and went gung-ho right with it. And now Avenatti is not even in the news cycle anymore. You know what I mean? The Democrats are weak and they are about to get washed during the midterms. I said that, I posted that on one of my blogs. And it's true, because the message they have, there is no message. The
way the Democrats treated Maxine
Waters
was just like appalling.
That was a death knell. That was a death knell in the cat. That was the nail.
So disrespectful and rude to this woman who
was fighting for the people.
So then that just lets you know
that the Democrats
is full of bullshit.
I was done with it.
So stay in your place, Negro Maxine. This is what they're saying. Stay in your place. We're letting you be a Democrat now, but you still can't speak up against Trump. Because remember, although Republican, he's still a white man. So keep your mouth shut, Maxine, and stay in your place. That's the problem that I have with the Democrats.
And that's what it is. And see, if you don't know what the Democrats are already, and here's a person who was stumped down when I voted my first time. I voted for Clinton twice. This is before we knew everything that had to go on. But I have pushed and registered people to vote in my time to get to that point. And when we got to Obama, we said, hey, here we are. Maybe we'll get something done. The way the Democrats treated President Obama, though his lineage isn't from the 1554 or 1619, even though his lineage isn't from there, they still treated him as if he was a second-class citizen, and the Democrats did not go to bat for him. Democrats, the one female Democrat from Kentucky, I forget her name, she lost to McConnell.
Oh yeah.
She wouldn't even admit that she voted for President Obama. They wouldn't support the health care bill. They wouldn't push forward. He got it through, but after that, once the Tea Party came in and all of it turned over, all of a sudden the Democrats act in fear because they wanted to hold on to their positions, and so many lost their positions because they don't stand for something. You have to give McConnell and the Republicans on the Senate and House side props, because they say something and they're willing to fall on their sword for it.
So the Republicans and the Democrat, what's the same?
Two sides of the same coin, and they're a two-headed snake.
Right.
And so really, unless they're talking something that's about black people in particular, you can see what they did with Obama. They could care less. Even Donna Brazile came out with her book and spoke about what happened. You know, and then Hillary just was interviewed for a half-an-hour interview. She's coming to run again, people. Are you voting for Hillary? I mean, that's my question. You can leave your answers. Are you going to vote for Hillary? You know the history. Are you going to vote for her? They put her up there for a third time. Third time's the charm, or third strike, you're out. Now, which one are you going to do? Are you going to fall for that? Are you going to fall for that after they cheated Bernie Sanders from out of the thing? Bernie Sanders probably would have won against Trump because he was saying the same thing, but he was coming moderate. We know that he didn't believe in reparations. He said that people wouldn't go along with that, so we know where he stands, but he was coming a little bit more moderate.
Right.
Okay, so now.
Well, none of them believe in reparations.
None of them believe
including Hillary.
Including Hillary. But what I'm saying is, so now we come to the responsible black people who have always been the quote-unquote leaders of black people, which there are no leaders, they are just individuals who speak up. But because the Democrats said that they were going to be the party of basically obstruction, we can admit that now, that they would be the party of obstruction, that they were not going to communicate with Trump either. So this brings us now to why we have Kanye West sitting in the office.
Did Kanye say about running for president?
Yeah, he said, and Trump said that possibly he could run.
and that's why Kanye is doing all of this, because he has aspirations for running for president. He told the president, of course, when you're out of office.
Of course, when you're out of office.
He told him.
Now listen. This is why we have Kanye, because I've always said, just looking through history, there was conversation with presidents when we were not even considered citizens of the United States of America. But people do not read history, okay? So just because he was not a politician did not mean that you did not take him seriously. I said you have to take him literally and seriously, because everything that he has set up to this point, he has pushed through, okay? And it doesn't matter, because let me tell you something. If he's not a politician, but you know what, he sure is kicking the butt of the Democratic Party. He's got the Republican Party under heel, and they are doing everything that they want, so they're never going to get rid of him again. And the Democrats have no win. They seem to have no message to put out to the people, and the people who do bring message, they try to shut them down.
Yeah, like I told you earlier,
this is brought to you by Black Ice. Black Ice. Okay, go ahead.
It's just my opinion. The same Democrats that we see on TV, and they're so against what Trump is saying, they're friends with the various Republicans, and they go to work just like everyone else. They do their hours, they punch the clock in. Once that's over with, they turn it off. They could care less.
Yeah, they turn off. It's just like a public defender.
Right.
He's trying to get over there to the prosecution side. They go out after the defendant is back in the jail cell.
Right.
They're going afterwards. They're going to hang out and have drinks and talk and and possibly talk about the case. So how could that be a person that's on your side when they secretly want to be there, and later move from being, you have to be a district attorney, then turn into getting your own law practice, where then you can get the big money by going after working with people who can get big settlements, and then you get your 33 and a third. So so when you look at that, we have no friends. So when Kanye sat up there and said that people think that black people vote Democratic, and he went on to his spiel and everything, then he went off and he rambled, and then it became incoherent. This is why we have Kanye West sitting there right now. This is why we have Kanye West sitting there talking to the president, because there was no communication. We know that Donald Trump gets the information, flips it around, and uses it for his own devices in his own way. But Kanye West's wife is getting people free from out of prison.
Come on.
And remember now, he's trying to go. Go ahead.
It was what I saw today was the Kardashian show, like with the cameras and the whole look at me, and he is officially a Kardashian. There's, the Kanye West thing, he's Kardashian now. So it's just a whole horse and pony show. It's just ridiculous.
And it's sad because he has the ear, and they have the ear of the president of the United States.
I don't even really. I mean, the ear.
He's trying to get Hoover out.
Yeah. See, the thing is, the Trump said, "Oh, Kim, that's nothing major." Okay, so she's not talking about reform. Oh, she's just saying, was a grandmother let her out that was in jail doing time? Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to go in and change any major laws. They're just...
But where it gets dangerous is Kanye West sat up there and talked about the 13th Amendment. Now, if you're going to go in and amend the 13th Amendment so it's not a trap where it says that there is no slavery unless you have been duly convicted of a crime, and you take that out and say that there is no slavery of any kind, even if you're convicted of a crime, but there is rehabilitation like Sweden, then we're talking a different ballgame. But to say abolish it, and then so what are we going back to if we abolish it? So I've been asking people, because we knew he was speaking today, which house are you going to go in? Are you going to be in the field, the barn, or the house? And we know through the slave narratives that the house Negroes were some of the main ones trying to escape off the plantation because they were in the house, and the slave masters in the house were doing all kinds of heinous acts to the people inside the house, including the slave master's wife was doing heinous acts. So no matter where you were, if you were close or distant, you were still feeling it, but you felt it most in the house. So which house are you going into is the major question in all this. And this is happening, people. This is happening. I remember watching a History Channel special, and they were talking about how Manhattan was once ran by Africans, black people, because they had to have a buffer between the whites and the Native Americans. And then the Native Americans kind of look like Africans. It's not that it's not those the $5 Indians. It's not that, right? They look like us, so it was understandable that they would have somewhat of a kinship and understanding, so to speak. So afterwards, the Dutch took Manhattan back, and Manhattan, because the blacks had built Manhattan up, so that's why it's one of the most wealthiest sections before it got the glitz and the lights and everything, crossing past the avenues of America and all that shit from Bronxville. But before it got all that, the blacks had built that up. And so once the Native American problem was taken care of, they took it from them. And the Dutch also said by 2010, slavery would be reinstituted. So, we had a black president 2009 on, and he said 2010. It's a little bit behind. Things aren't exact. But this is happening, people. This is happening. And you have Kanye West there talking irresponsible. But I have to give it to Kanye. Now, here's something, outside of his treasury. He did mention that he has mental illness, so... He did, no. He said that the doctor told him he was misdiagnosed, that he had sleep deprivation, which can cause dementia over years. So sleep deprivation is the reason why Kanye... That's what he said. Okay. That's what he said. That's his excuse. So he's cleaning it up. Right. So people... Sign of mental illness. So here it is. Delusions. Kanye West has done this. He has struck home one of his own, and all people had to do, all President Obama had to do when the hot mic situation happened, when they asked him about Kanye West and Taylor Swift, when he was taken up for Beyonce and Jay-Z, well, taken up for Beyonce at the MTV Awards when Beyonce had to put a ring on it. All President Obama had to say was no comment. Even if it was a hot mic or no, and it was supposed to be just off the record, he should have said no comment. Beyonce should have said, thanks, Kanye, because you were right to do that, but let's work on it another way, because you know that's the media darling. And now look at how politics makes strange bedfellows.
Trump
now
said a lot of negative stuff about him too.
During that time,
crapped on him for,
and the same people
going
who are
up there
giving him accolades now or dumping on him then, right?
Yeah, so he's just anyway.
So in closing, look at the strange bedfellows. Now Taylor Swift is no longer the darling. She's come out and said that people need to register to vote. When Hillary was running and she didn't believe in it too much because she didn't like Hillary, it would appear. And now, it's funny how things are churning and changing and turning and changing. And this whole thing with Kanye, this is happening, people. I want to say that for the third and last time in this. I might have said it more times, but this is happening, people. And we are not reading enough history and know enough of what happened in the past to make sure that the past doesn't repeat itself. So I'm going to ask you, especially with me again telling you the history about in the house, it was horrific in the house. Which house are you going into, people? Are you going to follow the Frederick Douglass model, where he said that there's no need to raise up because it's too many? But at that time, during the time, it was about 50-50. But that's the point, we getting that. Let me not get off there. You got to go do that research for yourself. But which house are you going to be in, people? You see that they don't like you. And that's hard for some people to take. Some black people, it's hard for them to realize that the European Americans don't like them, and no matter how much you act like them, dress like them, try to take their side on things, they just don't like you. And always remember, just like in any good movie where there is a traitor, a Benedict Arnold.
We had one in the White House today, meeting with the president.
Okay. Being that wherever there's a Benedict Arnold, sooner or later, they're going to experience the same thing that the people who were our resistance.
Because I love today how the president made it a point of letting his constituents, the alt-right as well as the Klan and all the other Nazis and all of them, he made it a point of saying this is just a luncheon. Because what did the reporter ask? What is the purpose of this meeting?
Yeah.
And he
it's
said,
not a meeting.
It's not a meeting. It's just a luncheon
for two people who like me, and I know that I like, and that they like me, and I believe that they like me, and so we're meeting
for lunch.
For lunch.
That's it.
And then Kanye West gets up.
And
hugs President Obama. I know the Secret Service was just totally outdone because I said, damn, he hugged him.
Oh, because he said that, he didn't have a daddy.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute.
Trump.
Yeah, he said that the hat gave him, it's like his Superman cape.
Right.
Because Superman was his favorite hero.
Right.
When his mother and father divorced, it was like there was not much male energy, and now in the Kardashian household, it's not male. You got that right, Jack, because Bruce Jenner, remember how people used to go get the Wheaties with Bruce Jenner on the box? And even EPMD had the song where they said kicking it like Bruce Jenner. You can't even say that anymore. But anyway, he is right about that. There's not much male energy coming from out of that.
Well, Kanye
household.
said wearing that Make America Great hat again gave him energy,
gave him that Superman
and
power.
he loves the president.
And he said that he's like a father. I said, oh wow,
father
now
figure to him,
now
and he got up and gave him a hug.
And now Donald Trump is Kanye's daddy. If you could take anything out of that,
His Zaddy.
Donald Trump is his zaddy. It's his zaddy. He just loves Zaddy. He just loves Zaddy. So that's it for right now. We just wanted to come on and discuss the meeting, the summit, the luncheon, the lunch with Jim Brown. I still don't know what Jim Brown was doing. And implementing what with who, because he just said it was. But anyway, I don't know what Jim Brown was doing.
It was a free lunch.
I remember Slaughter's Big Score.
Yes.
I remember all those different films. I remember him retiring after 9 years of playing football and told Art Modell, I'm going out to Hollywood to make it. See you, you racist sucker. And he moved down, and the Browns never went back to another championship. And when the NFL became the NFL and it was the Super Bowl, they have never been. And for him to be sitting there leaning back, you know who he reminded me of? He reminded me of, what's the movie that Denzel played in where he played the drug dealer that Jay-Z did the whole soundtrack for?
Oh.
What was that?
Oh, American Gangster.
American Gangster, right. Frank Lucas.
Frank.
Frank Lucas. I had to get that. I had to go through it and get the name. If you remember watching the documentary with Frank Lucas, he's sitting up in the seat, and he can barely sit up in the seat because he's got some kind of degenerative disease that was going on during that time when they were replaying it. Meanwhile, the guy who was the actual cop, he's still kind of spry and everything. And this guy is going through some kind of degenerative disease. That's how Jim Brown looks, sitting up there just leaning back and not saying nothing at all. And what did Jim Brown say again? Because I could barely hear him.
He said, I'm not here to ask you for anything, Mr. President. I'm just happy to serve.
Happy to serve.
Just happy to serve. I mean,
what?
Cooning at his best.
No. I'm going to say that I'm not going to give Jim Brown the coon.
Well,
the coon.
It is what it is.
Thing. No. I think that he's older and he has gotten a little bit tired in
Harry
the fight.
Belafonte is older and he's not sitting there.
Talking about he's there to serve
under the president.
That's
calling
true.
him Zaddy and hugging him.
Yeah, that's true.
Neither is Quincy Jones. So we have to. All of the excuses have to go out the window now.
So in the end, people, I don't know what Jim Brown was doing there. I remember what has happened to our strong nigritude. If you don't know what nigritude is, look it up. Nigritude is a way of expressing yourself. It's not a negative, it's a positive. It's exerting your power as a black male, or even a black female, really. Exuding your power as that person, saying what you will and will not take and what you demand as a human being on this planet. What has happened to our nigritude? It is all going away. Jesse Jackson has Parkinson's now. The only person who is still exuding that is Minister Louis Farrakhan, to the end. And did you notice that, in Detroit, the amphitheater that was named after Aretha Franklin, those ministers might have tried to, the pastors might have tried to snub him, the kind of freaky pastor tried to snub him at the Aretha Franklin homegoing funeral. But he's speaking there in Detroit, so
that's nice.
we just, not to use that term, but he just trumped the situation. So, people, as we close out on this has been an interesting day, and this is coming down to the times that they always talked about. Well, if you read your Bible, besides Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and besides the torturous life of Paul, and you read beyond that, you will read more information than just that. And this is the times that this has come to. If you read your Quran, you will read more more than just that. This is coming to the times that they have talked about. If you read any book by any black scholars or any of the offshoots of Nation of Islam, 5%ers, or you read the Leviathan 666 book, this told you about the cell, not the cell phone, but the smartphone, and about how it will be able to do everything. You'll be able to type on it, you'll be able to do it. And just like they said, and
they also mentioned the witches with the dark.
Yes, they mentioned that, and they also mentioned that through those phones they will be able to connect and hit right at you with mass messages. How they're going to be able to push the holograms of what you believe to be religious figures to make you become dormant and then lock in and be enslaved. And this is coming to pass.
It's just crazy.
When Trump pushed the button, or somebody in his mouth pushed the button, you got the mass text from the president. This is the time that if you read, then you know, and it is nothing to really be afraid of. But some people are going to make wrong decisions because they did not read up and know history and know what time you're in today. There's some people who don't even know 08. They don't know that. A kid that's 15 should at least know from 1979 up to today in history. They should at least know that. You know, as far as black history is concerned, and being a black person, from 1979 up till today. We, as people who were born in the 70s, should know at least 1930 up until today. Okay? And so that's the way it is. And so that's what we close with. I went over there for a little bit, but we have to reel it back in because this is the time that has been talked about all the time. Are you ready? And which house are you going to be in? And that's it.
It's no house. It's about...
Okay, when they come, okay, right, okay, that's right.
No,
it's not, you don't have to choose a house. When they come to your house and they say, okay, we're taking this over and you can have this room right here. Here's your butler outfit.
Well,
and here's your maid outfit.
Oh, they said, because Kanye talked the president into abolishing the 13th Amendment.
So when they come so when they come to your house or your domicile and they say, here's your butler suit, here's your maid. Remember they came out with the butler and then they came out with the help. They were kind of like forecasting to you what's going to be happening. So there it is in a nutshell.
Are they going to make people take down the pictures of JFK, Martin Luther King, and Obama off the wall?
That's right. And they're going to put Trump, David Duke, and Kanye. And Kanye. That's it. That's going to be the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit of all this. So that's what we stand. This has been another episode of the film
and a nice
review.
Classy picture of Kim.
Yeah.
Busting it open.
Oh, okay. This has been another great episode of the film review. Movies, music, culture, and whatever else comes to our mind. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy Dee.
I'm Tracey.
And we review culture in film, society, and politics. And we're gone.